It's time to place your predictions below. Comment down below with why you think Marvel Snap just got banned in the United States of America. I'm not joking, it was just banned. May not stay banned for long, but was just banned in the United States. So pause the video and comment down below, what do you think was the reason for this banning? Yesterday morning, I found out that Marvel Snap was the first card game in the history of card games to be banned in North America. And it still is, as time of recording. If you didn't know, yesterday the TikTok ban went into effect in the United States of America. We might have terrible weather over here and bad teeth, but at least we still got TikTok, eh baby? And subsequently, several other applications, including CapCut, one of the most popular mobile editing softwares, and Marvel Snap were also disabled for connection to them and for distribution from any of the app stores on phones like the Google Play Store or the Apple Store, is that what it's called these days? Because they are from the same parent company as TikTok. Now look, if you really fear politics because you're a bit of a pussy, you might want to log off from this video. Just close it and go somewhere else. I'm going to get a bit political because I have opinions about the TikTok ban. You don't have to preach to me about how bad short form content is in terms of what it's doing to the media landscape. I do think that short form content, whether that be Reels on Instagram, Shorts on YouTube, or TikTok in general, is damaging the attention spans of people and turning content into a churn that is lessening artistic integrity, journalistic integrity, the burden of proof, and other factors that I think are important to long-form content. In short, I am not a fan of short-form content, I just do it as a necessity as part of my job. But of course, that's not why TikTok's getting banned though, is it? It's not really to do with short-form content rotting or ruining the media landscape. It's to do with two things, and they're both kind of bollocks. The first one is basically government overreach around data secrecy, right? The reason that the North American government are deciding to ban TikTok or put legislation into place where if they don't sell off a large part of the company to an American owner, then they're going to disable it or not allow it to be distributed in the US. That's because they believe that they're sharing content or could be sharing user data with China. Thing is, they don't give a fuck when Meta do it. They don't give a fuck when any other app does it. Meta and Google being the big ones, but there are other companies that are not social media companies but have apps that have been stolen people's data. There's a case of like Uber, tracking a journalist who is looking into them via the data from their app. So this data can be sold, tracked, stored, manipulated, and used nefariously, but it only matters when it's a Chinese company because it's not being used by or for American interests, I guess. That's a whole new form of imperialism or xenophobia, right? And the other reason is this algorithmic shit, supposedly, that the algorithms will help push propaganda that's anti-American or pro-China. Which is really funny because, like, as far as we understand it, the bots and the propaganda from outside and foreign influences to Western countries like the UK or America, they're not just on TikTok, you know. They're all over platforms like fucking X. And the only reason X isn't getting looked into for this shit is because the owner of it, Musky Rat, is just spit shining the arsehole of Donald Trump at the moment. So both those reasons aren't really legitimate, but sprinkle a little bit of xenophobia and the American sentiment on top of it, and you might want to get rid of TikTok, right? And also, I believe Zuckerberg has gone on record as saying that he thinks that TikTok is a threat to national security and should be looked into far more than Meta or Facebook should be. Minor correction there, it's not on the record, because if Facebook were on the record or Zucks was on the record about this, it'd be seen as anti-competition and could probably get him in a lot of trouble. So supposedly, according to the Wall Street Journal, he said it quietly behind closed doors to the administration and the president at Washington. Yeah, that's much better, I guess. Fucking hell, what a world. Which is funny, really, because, I mean, if there's a definition of bias, you can pretty much fucking clearly see it there, right? That fucking Zuckerberg's face next to it in the fucking dictionary. One US senator referred to TikTok as a gun held to the heads of American people, which is pretty fucking ironic, because they won't pass legislation to stop guns shooting their kids in schools. American politicians only give a fuck when the gun is metaphorical and being held by a Chinese company. So it's quite clear that I think that the removal of a social media platform, a communication tool, and the livelihoods of and social connections of, you know, hundreds of millions of Americans, simply because you think it could theoretically be abetting and helping the Chinese government even though there's no fucking evidence for it, because they can't provide any evidence because it's not fucking there. I think that shit fucking sucks. And from my own personal perspective here, before we go into talking more about Marvel Snap, I don't actually fucking believe that TikTok is safe, by the way, or that it's not having their data being manipulated or used for nefarious means. I just assume that's happening with all social media platforms from all the tech companies, because they all sing from the same fucking hymn sheet, just sometimes with different affiliations. So TikTok went down, and people were surprised it went down. down, even though this was coming for fucking like 9 months or something. And it went down overnight and people have started moving to other social media platforms. But the funny fucking thing is that the Marvel Snap development team, who are based out of America, by the way, they had no idea this was coming. Or at least they've been told, according to some of Ben Brode's tweets or skeets or whatever the fuck they call on Blue Sky, that they've been promised by the higher up in the publishing company that publishes the game and does all the PR for the game that this would not be a problem, that it wouldn't affect them. One Reddit user months ago, like 10 months ago, commented how this would be a problem. So people are pointing to that Reddit post as proof that they should have fucking known better. However, hear me out here. I used to work for a large bank called NatWest here in the UK. And there will be circumstances where the higher ups would tell you that new legislation, change in government policy, or whatever it was, would not affect your job role or your day-to-day working of your branch or any other facet of the banking, retail banking sphere. And then they would be completely fucking wrong about it and things would get topsy-turvy, new training, things would be stopped, things would be started. It was always a mess. Because large companies with many moving parts are often filled with people who don't know what they're fucking doing, or they think something's going to happen and it fucking doesn't. So to point to the development team and blame them, they're like developers for the game. They're not there to deal with the legislative policies of the North American government in respect to Chinese companies that may or may not be harvesting the data of individuals. Cut them some fucking slack. For the record, I really like Marvel Snap. I've been very critical of the slow progression system. I've disliked that and card acquisition. But on the whole, I think the game was a breath of fresh air in the digital card game space. So I think it's really, really funny that Marvel Snap, a very respectable and good card game in my opinion, is the first card game to be banned in North America, and it wasn't because of the Satanic Panic or any of that kind of shit, gambling even, right? If you'd asked me what you think, if you told me in the future a card game would get banned in America, why do you think that is? I would have assumed it was some NFT, gambling, crypto association thing that preyed on kids or was predatory in some way and it got taken to a court of law. That would be my hot guess. I don't think anywhere else in my top 10 guesses would have been associated with stealing the data of Americans for the Chinese government. Not that I'm saying Marvel Snap was doing that or anyone's saying Marvel Snap was doing that. As far as I understand it, the other things that have been taken down, CapCut and Marvel Snap, were never mentioned or talked about in this regard. This is kind of like collateral damage. So because Nuverse is owned by ByteDance, the company that owned TikTok and the one that's been having the laws passed against them, there is this like thing floating around on the web that this is some political statement, that removing a lot of other apps from the market proves how important this part of the Chinese business world is to American consumers, and I don't buy it at all. I think that's kind of bollocks. And of course, TikTok is back up because Trump has given them an extension to comply with the selling of parts of TikTok. So really, the future is uncertain, but TikTok's back up, and as of time of recording, Marvel Snap is not. There was a 24-hour period floated by the development team. Ben Brode has not tweeted for, I think, 11 hours at this point. It's 15, sorry. It was 11 when I first started thinking about actually sitting down to make this video. It's been 15 hours since Ben tweeted. And yeah, so we don't know anything about what's happening with it. I assume it'll be back up. But again, the future of TikTok is uncertain. And does that mean America will enact this on anyone under the Nuverse sort of DataByte umbrella? Because that's a fucked up precedent to set, right? Because I'm pretty sure the publishing company for like Marvel Rivals is also based in China, and then like Tencent, one of the largest like media conglomerates in the fucking universe, right? They own all sorts of shit and it shares and influence in all sorts of shit, including League of Legends. Do we start to go down that route there? I know none of those apps are explicitly tracking data in the same way that TikTok is at the moment, but then TikTok's not tracking data in any way that's completely different from American companies like Meta or Google. So it opens a door for more just bullshit from senators who don't know what the fuck they're doing, passing laws just to fuck with Chinese businesses simply because they're in bed with these two clowns running American corporations. The one on the left is paying people to play video games for him so he can lie to people on the internet by being good at them, and the one on the right is going through a personal rebrand to obfuscate and hide the fact that he's going off the deep end into conservative politics. It's a really fucking strange place to be. And the other bit that really tickles my piss in terms of like the comedy value of it all is that the kind of people that talk about government overreach and will vote for someone like President Trump, for example, they will talk about, you know, draining the swamp and getting rid of the icky underbelly of American politics and giving back to the people and all this shit. They're usually the ones being all libertarian about governments having too much input into their lives, but the dickhead they're voting in is the one that started all of this. Meanwhile, the whole government overreach of banning Chinese companies and social media is originally his fucking idea. He was the one that tried to do this first. He's now U-turned on that though, simply because he's a fucking star on the platform. His words, not mine, because he's got fucking so many followers and so much influence through into the younger demographics through social media platforms like TikTok. He's now recognized that actually, even if he truly believed it was a threat to American security or the youth through its propaganda and its algorithm shit. Ted Cruz, by the way, claims that TikTok is serving maths and study and strict ruling to its kids on its Chinese version of the app. I can't remember what it's called, but he thinks that it's serving the youth on our side of things, on the West, in America, suicide and depression. It's funny, really, that he mentions Tide Pods here, because the virality of that was 6 years ago on YouTube. He says, let's think of the children, but let's be honest, the children aren't getting fed like the Western canon via Instagram and Twitter, are they? But now it's helping Trump. He don't give a fuck. He's like, fuck it. Might be a threat to national security, but so am I, baby. So am I. Also, originally the ban, before it became like a conversation in Congress, and we got this embarrassing interview. Before that happened, the initial inciting incident, as far as I understand it, is Trump trying to do an executive order to ban TikTok, which was deemed not appropriate or able to be done by the Supreme Court or wherever the fuck it is, and that led to the senatorial hearings and interviews and discussions and shit. Now, the extension to allow TikTok and give them the confidence to continue working in America without getting, busted with a fucking huge court case or something, is from another promised executive order from Trump. Both of these things have started with just the word of a crazed madman as opposed to actual legislation. It's kind of crazy to me, because if the first one didn't stand up, how the fuck will the second one stand up? Long story short, if we really get down to it, why the fuck are governments doing this? It feels like overreach, and on top of all of that, games shouldn't be the ones getting hit as well, especially when they aren't even part of the data capture fucking argument. Like, what happened to the whole Pokemon Go thing where they were like mapping out locations via the fucking app? That just flew under the radar. But people snapping on turn 0 and then playing that, which one was it that blows up all the fucking locations? Is it Galactus? The motherfuckers. That stuff is, no, that's not okay. Do you reckon Trump played some Marvel Snap? No. He's too fucking dumb. As people who joined the channel recently who don't know that I feel this way about this kind of thing, or that I speak in this way, yeah, welcome. I hope you leave a comment down below talking about how you're upset with my political views or some shit. I don't fucking know. The whole thing's fucking stupid, but interestingly, it's dystopian in a way that I haven't felt in a while. I haven't seen governments, actually that's not true. The UK government were trying to ban pornography at one point, quite recent. Okay, it's not new, not fresh, same shit, different day. I assume and I hope Marvel Snap will be up soon, but I think it's fucking wonderful that it can now hold the accolade of the first, and as far as I know, only trading card game. I guess technically it's a collectible card game, you can't trade the cards. Either way, card games get banned in America. Let me know what you think of this political topic in the comments below, because that'll go well, and I'll see you in the next one. Ta-ta for now.